What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys enjoyed the EVO weekend as much as I did. Even though Haitani didn't play Modern Chun-Li on stream at EVO this year, we have another modern player who made it pretty far and showed us the power of modern control. For those of you who didn't follow the Japanese scene, Tachikawa has been playing modern ad at a very high level and consistently getting good results. And that's what we're here to learn today. Modern ed. Let's get right into it. For strengths and weaknesses, he has a lot of good meterless options that can lead to good scenarios for you. His mid-range game is also pretty fantastic thanks to psycho flickers, and he also have a command dash, the bob and weave move that you see a lot, so you don't have to spend bars for drive rush on knockdown to chase your opponent. It's very meter friendly. And then he also have a unique fireball that can cancel one hit of fireball before firing your own back at your opponent. And his level 2 is arguably second best in the game after Rashid because of how much super meter you can build with it and corner carry. Because of how Psycho Flicker works, every time you charge it, it's a guessing game for your opponent. If you like to play mind games, he's the right character for you. That's why I label him pretty trickery. As for weaknesses, both Ed's ODDP and level 1 have a 13 frame startup compared to Ryu's 6 frame for DP, 7 frame for level 1 and 12 frame for level 2. So your opponent can use 4 frame meaty and block in time still if you use your reversal. But until you reach master, I don't think this is a big deal as I've never gotten my reversal blocked because of a meaty jab from my gameplay experience. But hey, just letting you know, that's a thing. And his standing light punch is super short range, so his close range game isn't all that great. His crouching light punch though has a normal range, but it's not cancelable, so yeah, his close range game is pretty weak. And then he also have no overhead move, so not very good for like the high and low mix-up game, which he doesn't really have any. Psycho Flicker, his light and medium flicker target combo is also not cancelable, so yeah, you're pretty vulnerable to DI. And even though his level 2 is one of the best in the game, if you pick modern because you don't want to do manual inputs, then it is not one of the best in the game. You technically don't need to learn how to use the level 2 to get to at least like high diamond, I would say, but if you aim to reach master at some point, it is an essential skill for you to learn as an ad player so that you're more resource efficient and to maximize ad's damage potential. In terms of the normals that he's missing, the only important one that he's really missing is jumping medium kick, in my opinion. Not having that kind of make our air-to-air game a lot weaker because the jumping medium kick actually has decent amount of horizontal range in air. So yeah, our air-to-air game isn't all that great compared to classic ed, but that's about it. And for the modern nodes, for Psycho Spark, you can only use the modern shortcut in order to use the fireball part of Ed's toolkit, but you still have the 3 different strengths of fireball as the follow-up. It's only the startup part that you don't have a manual input for it, which is fine, honestly. And feel free to pause the video if you need to look at this list any longer. Like I mentioned earlier, we're missing jumping medium kick, so we don't really have a good long range air-to-air option, but we still have jumping light kick, so it's not the worst in terms of like what we have available. And like a normal DP character, Ed has 3 different strengths of DP, so you have your light, which is also your special button, and then you also have medium, which takes a little step forward, and then there's the heavy version, which you take a large step forward. And you also have standing heavy kick, which is just your heavy button for modern. This is not a very reliable anti-air option, so your go-to option for anti-air was is still your normal DP. The different DPs have different purposes, but majority of the time you will still use your normal light DP as your reliable go-to anti-air option. If it's slightly further, let's say if they're gonna jump and land right in front of you, right, like this, let's say where you didn't press a button, they would have landed right here, and light DP would have whiffed, and then they can punish you if they were empty jumping, right? So in that case, that would be where the norm or medium DP would come into play. But I would say normally your range for neutral would be somewhere around here, and if they jump, that will be a light DP covered range. So it's not something you have to be too worried about in terms of using like medium DP, or do I need to use standing heavy kick as my anti-air option. Normally you would be playing around this range, so your light DP would cover all of those options. As for heavy DP, you are most likely only using it during a combo strain or a level 2. So for example, you use heavy DP there, and then etc. Right? Like you only use it during a combo strain instead of like as an anti-air tool because it's too slow. Let's go over some of the useful buttons that add heads. Starting with standing light punch. Right, standing light punch. You can access this with auto light, or you can access it after you already used some other buttons like crouching light. And then after you do that, you can just press light button again, because normally light button is the standing light kick. So if you follow it up with crouching light punch, then you will be able to use it as a regular light button. And you can link it into light blitz, and that will be +3. You're in their face. Pretty good situation for you. Normally you would just use this in like a scramble situation, or when you're about like +3 to 5 range. You don't have a 5 frame normal, so your best bet is when you're +3 to 5, your best bet is to use these auto light combo so that you can get a knockdown into your O-key situation, right? That will be the standing light punch use case. And then we have standing light kick. This tool is specifically good against burnout opponent. So let's see, there we go. The first 2 hit, on block, the first 2 hit will be +1 on burnout opponents. If they are not burnt out, then the first 2 hit is going to be -3. You're still safe. You can block in time. It just won't be your turn, right? But you can still block in time if they press something. And this is technically a 3-hit target combo. So once you can see that by the 2nd hit, whether it's block or hit, then you can choose whether you're going to continue with the 3rd hit. That's pretty much it for the lights stuff. So let's move into the medium stuff. Standing medium punch can be accessed with auto medium. This is pretty good because it can, let me fill that up. It can be used in a true block string with, or technically it's not a true block string, it's a frame trap with the light flicker. It takes almost a whole bar of drive gauge if you can look at reuse drive gauge. And if they press anything, like a crouching 4 frame, it's a counter hit. So it's a frame trap. But the only thing you have to be careful about is if you use this too much, you're gonna eat a DI, because flicker is not cancelable and you don't recover in time. You're just gonna eat it and you get blown up. That's pretty much it. Alternatively, you can also use, if you're around max range, you can also use Psycho Spark, and that will also catch them, and you can follow the fireball. you don't really get much out of it after this, although you're +5, but you're a little bit too far away to do anything. What else? We have the standing medium kick. Standing medium kick is pretty decent as well. It's cancelable, it has decent range. So it's also a target it has a target combo extension, which is the same as the standing light kick. It has 3 hit, and similar to the standing light kick version, you are quote unquote safe. The light version is -3, so you are truly safe if you block. But the medium kick version, you're -6 after the first 2 hit. But you are far enough, if you space it out correctly, you won't get hit by even a crouching medium kick if you space it out correctly. So technically you're safe, but that depends on your spacing. And just like the light version, you need to confirm by the second hit whether you can go into the third hit or not. Right? So, because if you don't punish, counter, they're gonna drive rush and you're gonna eat a whole combo. But that's pretty much it for standing medium kick at least. And the last medium button that we have is crouching medium punch. It serves the same purpose as other characters' crouching medium kick. You can drive rush into it. It's a little bit faster than standing medium kick. So so standing medium kick drive rush is good, but not as good as crouching medium punch drive rush, because if, let's say you are drive rushing on block, if you try to use standing medium punch as your follow-up, you will trade with 4 frame regardless how fast you press it. But if you drive rush off of crouching medium kick or crouching medium punch, drive rush into standing medium punch, it will win against 4 frames and any buttons that have longer startups, right? So it makes your string tighter and better. The downside of it is versus standing medium kick is crouching medium punch doesn't have as long of a range compared to standing medium kick. So that's something to keep in mind. And then the heavy stuff, we have standing heavy punch. This thing has longer range than crouching medium kick, so this is very good to use in neutral. Plus, if you use standing heavy kick or standing heavy punch cancel into light flicker, it's a true block string, and you almost take 1 bar of their drive gauge just with 2 hits, right? And if you see that they are continuously pressing, right, like the Ryu is doing, so they are just mashing button when they get hit, you can also cancel into OD flicker, and you can get a combo started with it. Oops. Right, and then you can get a knockdown and get your party started, right? So you can use standing heavy punch into light flicker to chip them their drive gauge, or you can use OD to see if they're actually being honest, trying to block. If they are not blocking, then they eat a combo, right? But what if they are blocking? If they are blocking, you are +4 in their face. Is strike, throw, shimmy, mix up from you. You have all 3 options. The world is your oyster, right? But if they are going to be parrying, they don't get as close, right? Parry will reduce the amount of drag that you pull them in, so they're a little bit further away. But they are still in strike range, so you can still strike them to apply more pressure, right? Like, even though they did this, you can still standing heavy punch to apply more pressure off of that, right? And you can just go straight back into your heavy punch flicker to chip the drive gauge. If they're gonna hold parry, right, walk up and throw is also an option, and then you take away their drive gauge and thanks for the 2k damage, right? Very easy. That's why standing heavy punch is such a great tool, because you can go into light flicker or OD flicker. You can do a lot of things with it. You can do a lot of damage with it, right? And then the final useful button that is in the heavy category is this Cobra Punch, or Superman Punch, some people would like to call it. Similar to Marissa's Superman Punch, it goes over low because he hops off the ground. So if your opponent likes to spam lows like Cammy, Juri, those people like to stick their legs out to hit you low, this will be a very good button to catch them. Without Drive Rush, you are still safe on block because it's only -3. With Drive Rush, it will be +1 and you're in their face. So you can use your Scramble Situation button, which is standing light punch, to get more pressure off of it because it's still your turn. But if it's on hit, you're +5, which will connect to standing light punch, and you get a true combo off of it, right? So if they are using a lot of lows, or you just need to gap close and they're not really throwing fireballs to stop you, then this is a good way to gap close them and start your party, basically. But that's pretty much it for all the useful buttons that Ed has, and let's go over some of his special moves. Special moves. The first one we're gonna go over is the Fireball, Psycho Spark. Like we said earlier, this can only be accessed with the modern shortcut, the special button. So you are guaranteed to take the 20% damage penalty because you can only use the shortcut for it. You have access to all 3 strength of Fireball, but they all do the same damage, it's just different speed. The first part can destroy the Fireball, and then you can throw back your own. And if you somehow on top of them, it can also do damage, but most of the time you won't be. Sometimes you can use this in like as an Oki, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the fireball stuff. And Psycho Uppercut is DP, so shortcut, you get the light version, just your anti-air tool. The medium version doesn't really see much use because normally you are either using the heavy uppercut for your level 2 routes or as your combo ender generally. So those are your usage for your normal uppercut strengths. And then for the OD, that's your reversal. Normally that's all you would use it for, but you can use it in some matchup to counter Fireball. Like let's say JP, whether they're throwing out fakes or not, or they are throwing out like spikes in front of them, or Dalsum throwing out like limps at this range, you can just go through it with your DP because you're stepping forward and you're not going into the air like a traditional DP, right? So you can beat their Fireball game using your reversal, but it's not really worth it. It's only 1200 damage, almost 13, but you're spending 2 bars for it. So unless it's gonna kill, then yeah, maybe go for it, but otherwise it's not fair worth for the amount of damage you're doing for 2 bars. Psycho Blitz, one of the coolest moves in Ed's toolkit, is the speed back move. If the light version hits, you're gonna leave your opponent standing. You're +3 in their face, like we said earlier, but you're slightly out of throw range, so you have to walk up a little bit to throw. That's basically it. It used to be the auto light combo for season 1, so it'll be light punch. Instead of the medium blitz ender that we get in season 2, you'll be +3 in their face. That's what season 1 was. And sometimes because of connections, rollback, blah blah blah, right? Sometimes being +3, you're not like on top of your game, so you're not frame perfect. +3 is not like the best situation sometimes. So there are times where you wish like the shortcut would give you an ender as well, right? But the shortcut version gives you heavy version, so it doesn't work with light confirms. But now in season 2 we get the medium blitz as the auto combo ender for light, so it's a huge improvement for the auto combo department for Ed. But the heavy version that we get for shortcut, you can use it with medium punch. After the first 2 hit of medium punch, medium punch combo, you get a +42 with the shortcut heavy version. It works against back rise people in mid screen too, so this safe jump works everywhere. And you're gonna be +11 after the heavy hit jump attack, so which you can also link into standing heavy punch, because standing heavy punch is only 10 frame startup. So very good situation for you for landing that. On top of that, let's say you press the medium auto button too many times and you get snatcher instead. The heavy blitz still works, but it's no longer a true safe jump because you are +43, which you have too many frames, so your jumping attack is not gonna hit. That's the only difference. In terms of the medium blitz, there are some use in other combo routes, but generally you will have to manually input it. And if you're playing modern, you're probably not gonna use it, so you could probably gonna be avoiding those routes. And then the OD version, which is what you're gonna be seeing a lot of people use to cancel into level 2. And that's what it is mainly used for, is just to cancel into level 2. Right? Something simple like this. So if you don't feel like doing OD blitz manually into level 2 and then learning a level 2 route, right? You can skip all that and just use the auto combo if you want to spend level 2 that way. Then you will basically have nowhere to use OD blitz. OD blitz is technically safe on block, is -3, but on hit, it's a safe jump. It's +42, it's a safe jump. But it doesn't work that well against people who back rise in mid screen. So unless you land this in a corner, OD blitz is basically you're just spending it for damage, and it's not that great of a damage either, even on hit. So yeah, unless you're canceling into level 2, there's almost no reason to use OD blitz, unless you just want to check if they're honest in neutral and you just throw it out to see if they're like blocking or not, and you happen to guess wrong, then you're only -3. So that's the use case for OD blitz pretty much. Psycho Flicker is what Tachikawa likes to call rope. And it also has another name called Snatcher, because if you charge it, then you can pull them in, you're snatching them. So it's also called Snatcher. But even though it doesn't look like a fireball, the game treats it like a projectile. So for example, Ryu's level 1 is immune to strike throw, but you can also beat it with Snatcher or Flicker, because it's a projectile. It's only strike throw immune. So if you have people in the corner, a lot of time your Oki is gonna be just charging Flicker. So if they wiggle level 1, you just let go of the snatcher and they just lose their level 1 super completely, and you get a punish counter combo off of it. So snatcher as an Oki is also a very strong option once you have them in the corner, because they cannot wake up with level 1 super for majority of the cast. And your shortcut version is the light flicker. So the range is okay, it's not the worst, but you will see a lot of Eds like in high level are playing at around this range, because medium flicker can almost go full screen. Like, this is a lot of range. Nobody can touch you at this range with any buttons, right? So you can just chip them out like this as well, you know, but you have to manually input this because your shortcut is the light version, right? So there's no easy way to spam this and abuse this as a modern player. You have to play honestly and actually input the special move input for it, right? Which isn't that hard if you just put some time into practice. It's just a quarter circle forward medium, right? And you have a lot of time, you're in no rush, you're very safe at this space. The only thing that this is very prone to is jump ins, right? Because there's a very long recovery time window for this. So if you use this a lot and they like, oh, he's gonna do another flicker, they can just jump in on you and it will be a punish counter and it will be no fun for you. But if you think they're gonna jump, you can use the heavy version, which is going diagonally into the air. That's the trick, is to mix this up, and you can just hold. You can just hold a charge. While you are charging your flickers, they have no idea which version you're using, and you can always cancel it, right? They would never let them know your next move, right? If they're not jumping, you can just cancel your heavy flicker, right? You're not in any danger at this range. So if they're not jumping, cancel it. And then if you are charging the medium and they're not jumping, you can just let it rip and pull them in and start your party. You +4 in their face, right? That's why Psycho Flicker is such a good tool, and that's what makes Ed so annoying, because when you're charging, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're charging. Can I jump? Oh, if I like do something else that is trying to challenge this space, if they drive rush, you can also just let it go, right? If they drive rush trying to challenge the space, just let it go, and then you're getting a punish counter, right? And if they jump, you can backdash, and then you're safe again. So there's a lot of mind game that you can play once you start charging. What am I gonna do? What's my next move? They are always guessing. And that is why Ed is so hard to fight against if you don't know what he's doing. And use this to your advantage, because that is the strongest point of Ed, and that's why you are playing so far out. And it makes sense. Because your close range is so bad, so you're playing at this range, right? So take advantage of it. You don't even need to be up close and personal. You can stay far away and just play your flicker game, force them to guess, and you can basically win the game. Just keep making them guess. You can always be the one who initiate action with Psycho Flicker. That's how strong this move is. And now that we're going over all three strengths and where to use it, pretty much, the medium and light basically use it depending on the range, and the heavy version is just to anti-air, or once people start jumping your flicker, you will just use this to counter them so they can't jump, right? Those three versions you can also charge it, otherwise it's just a flick, right? That's why it's called flicker. But the OD version is gonna snatch no matter what, and there's no charge time. You cannot hold this. You cannot hold like a regular flicker just to like see what their action is, and you cannot cancel OD. The OD version have about the same range as the light version, less slightly longer, but it's something to get used to, right? It has about the same range as the light, I would say. So, but it skips the charging part. So if you just want to like pull them in to start your offense and you don't feel like charging, like holding down, like doing all that, just throw out OD, spend 2 bars. You can get your strike throw shimmy set up all at once just by spending 2 bars, and it's hugely in your advantage. So that's how you would utilize Psycho Flicker. And the last one is Kill Rush, which is the command dash. You can press any 2 buttons technically, other than light and medium, because light and medium is throw. So light heavy or medium heavy can both be used to activate the command dash, and depending on when you press the follow-up is a forward plus any button, you get 2 different follow-up attacks. So the first one would be the first half, and the second one will be the second half of Kill Rush, right? They both have different uses during a combo route, but you wouldn't really throw this out in a normal situation, because on block is -6 on the first one, and whoops, that's not the first half one. That's the first half one, and the first half one is -4, right? I personally don't really like timing this, so I tend to avoid combo route that uses this, but there's a lot of combo routes that utilize Kill Rush, but in my use case, I tend to use it as a replacement for Drive Rush for Oki situation to close the gap. So I'm not really using up the follow-up attack. But if you're comfortable timing this, you will have a lot more combo route options, but the BNB combos that I'm going to show you later, I'm going to try to avoid all of it, just because I don't have the confidence of timing this, and I want consistency over mistiming stuff during a match. And the other usage, like I showed you earlier, when you charge a flicker, you can cancel it with a command dash, whether it's forward or backward. So you can double tap backward instead of like using heavy plus back. It depends on what you're comfortable with. So you can double tap back to backdash, or you can press back plus heavy or back plus light. That will both work, or whatever, 2 buttons, right? Just 2 buttons plus back will cancel the charge flicker or forward, right? So that's the second usage of the command dash. And then the third one is to replace Drive Rush, like I said. That's what I mainly use it for. Like when you get a knockdown, let's see, when you get a knockdown, Kill Rush, and then you can easily get a Oki that way, right? If they're pressing anything, it's counter hit. A lot of Ed's Oki situation involves Kill Rush to kill the frames and to close the gap, and then normally it will work perfectly in terms of like numbers wise for like a standing heavy punch or like a standing medium punch as like an Oki option after Kill Rush, instead of using the Kill Rush follow-up attack as part of the Oki situation. So those are the usage for Kill Rush, and that's all the special moves that Ed has. Let's go over some auto combos. The light auto combos, like I said, mainly used in scramble situation because the standing light punch has such a short range, but it has decent knockdown Oki situation, right? Because it uses medium blitz as an ender. You can kill rush into standing heavy punch, and it will basically beat any button that they throw out minus reversal, right? So if they DI, standing heavy punch is cancelable. You can easily hit them back with a drive impact, right? So pretty good auto combo. Don't really care about the damage of this part because you'll most likely only using it in scramble situation and at least a good knockdown situation. The damage is not the concern for this auto combo, but overall it has good use. So we have the medium auto combo next, which uses OD Snatcher, and then after level 2 you still need to keep pressing it because it has an other Snatcher component to it into it heavy DP. So that's when the combo truly ends. And if you use the whole sequence, it is a safe jump. It's plus 42. I believe it works everywhere as well. Never mind, it doesn't work mid-screen. But if you just want a safe jump, just use the first 2 hit of the auto combo and then just go to back special to use the heavy blitz. You will also get a safe jump that way. Meterless, doesn't use your level 2, and this safe jump works anywhere. It's just much better usage for your resources. But if you press it too many times, like I said, you get the OD Snatcher. Back special also still works, but now it's not a true safe jump. Like, you're safe to jump, but you don't get any additional pressure because you have too many plus frames. So what you can do is, oh whoops, that's OD. You can kill rush. You can still press heavy punch. It will be a block strain, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's still a counter hit actually. So drive or kill rush into standing heavy punch is gonna be like 90% of your knockdown Oki choice. So when in doubt, go into kill rush standing heavy punch as your Oki. And even if they don't, if they block it, right? So even if they block, oh, it's not blocking. So kill rush, block, right? You can just go into the light special or light flicker with down special. Just trip their drive gauge if they're almost dead or if they're almost burned out, right? Or you can just use OD flicker if you have bars to spend. Then you're also forcing them to guess again. So even though you spend 2 bars right here, you kill rush, drive heavy, kill rush into a standing heavy punch, you're still in a very good situation to continue your offensive pressure, even though you didn't get a safe jump to continue it, right? Like this is an alternative route that you can take if you just happen to mash too many times and you get the OD Snatcher to come out, right? So, and let's say you did get a safe jump, right? So this is plus 11 if you use jumping heavy attack, and then this goes into standing heavy punch like I said earlier. Jumping heavy attack, standing heavy punch, and then you can go into light flicker again to chip their drive gauge, or you can use OD Snatcher to pull them back and make them guess again, right? It's all to your advantage. So the medium punch auto combo might not be the best, but the first 2 hit of the auto combo for medium is pretty good. Either leads to a safe jump, or if you press it too many times, you got the OD Snatcher. You can still get the decent Oki knockdown situation, or if you're not gonna learn any level 2 routes, you can just spend level 2 this way as well. If you think that like 3k damage is gonna kill, just let the whole combo rip for 2 bars. You get almost 3100 damage, and if it kills, why not spend it, right? So that's the medium auto combo. And then heavy auto combo, it is actually so good. It spends level 3, it does decent damage, it's meterless, and it also worked on DI wall splat. It's 4680 damage, and if you happen to get a DI wall splat, you can just let the whole auto combo rip, link it into level 3 if you want. If you don't, that's fine as well. So yeah, you can get a whole auto combo damage off of a wall splat. It's kind of insane, honestly. And it does decent amount of damage as well for spending no bars. And if you want to spend some bars, you can drive rush, cancel drive rush after the first heavy punch, link it into a sending heavy kick, and that's a little bit more damage if you just want to like drop some bars into it to do a little bit more damage. So, and it can loop twice, but the timing is the timing needs to be worked on a little bit, because if you're a little late, then it wouldn't connect and it'll be blocked, right? You spending 6 bars, very simple, just adding a standing heavy kick into the combo, and you get like extra 600 damage off of it, I believe, right? I don't remember without all those heavy kicks how much damage we did with level 3, but if you spent 6 bars just doing 2 drive rush cancel and just adding 2 standing heavy kick into the combo, you're doing 5500 damage. So very simple. The auto combo is meterless, works on DI wall splat, and like it works from so far away too, because it has so much range, right? I believe this is gonna hit, and as soon as the first or the standing heavy punch can hit, you're guaranteed to land all of his follow-ups. So as long as you're in range to hit this, you're guaranteed for the rest of the combo on the DI wall splat. And the other thing is, although you're a -5 here, a lot of the times people wouldn't press anything and they just stay blocked, even though you block the standing heavy punch. So even though you're -5, some people wouldn't press anything, so you can take advantage of that. Or technically you're -12, but then you can just get a free throw off of it. A lot of times people just freeze up and don't do anything. If you're facing one of these opponents that are very turtly, then even if they block your standing heavy punch and supposedly you're minus, they can blow you up, but they didn't press anything because they didn't know you're that minus, you can get a free throw off of it and escape the situation. But that's all the stuff about the auto combo. I would rate Ed's auto combo very highly because of how meter efficient it is, how great the auto combos are, and on top of it, like what kind of extension you can get off of like the initial hits of the auto combo. So very good, very well designed modern character. Last thing I want to go over is level 2 super. So depending on which starter you're using to cancel into OD Blitz, whether it's standing heavy punch, the medium punch, or light punch, right? It can all cancel into OD Blitz and then you cancel into level 2. So in order to maximize our damage potential, we would have to use manual input. But if you don't want to learn any manual input whatsoever, you might better off not using level 2 at all, because the auto combo for using the level 2 with the medium combo, you're getting 3097 for damage, right? Remember that number, and it's about like 1/5 of the drive gauge. Okay, keep that in mind. So if we're using the same thing with medium starter and then cancel into OD Blitz using all modern input for level 2 as well. Oh, I canceled too early. So even though we are manually inputting the heavy DP for the combo extension after level 2, we're only doing 3016. And the upside of that is we are in the corner, we're right next to them, we are very plus, and we gain more super gauge. We almost double our super gauge meter, right? So there is pros and cons of doing level 2 routes even with just the modern shortcut, right? With the OD Blitz and the level 2. You're gonna do less damage, as you can see, but you gain other stuff on the side. And in order to make up that damage, you would need to manually input OD Blitz and level 2 super to compensate for the scaling. Oh, I think I missed the last DP. Oh, no, actually I didn't. 3425 is correct. So I gained 400 damage by doing everything manually, which honestly, it isn't terribly hard because OD Blitz is quarter circle back, right? Quarter circle back is quite easy. The only hard part is the DP motion, in my opinion, at least. But if you're on leverless, it can be easy during a combo. Using manual input for DP as a reaction to anti-air is much harder than executing the DP motion during combo. So especially if you're on leverless, you can press forward, down, forward, and it satisfies the input. So forward, down, forward, heavy is what I press. There's obviously other shortcuts that you can use for leverless as well, but that's what I use and that's what works for me. So the other thing to note is for level 2, if you're gonna cancel from OD Blitz, you have to cancel it during the last part when Ed is doing the uppercut. And also for modern, because we don't get to choose the strength for our level 2, because we can only do quarter circle back, quarter circle back, quarter circle back, medium to get level 2, or if we do the shortcut, which is back, special, heavy, to choose what strength we use for level 2 is based on forward and backward that you hold during the animation. So as you can see in the command list is back, neutral, or forward. That changes the speed of the level 2 going across the screen. And you have to hold back the whole time during the level 2 animation. Otherwise, you're gonna get neutral. You can see me holding back the whole time on the input history, right? If you let it go fast, or I can let it go fast, right? If I hold, press and hold forward, see the speed difference there? In order to get those level 2 combo strains, you have to hold back and use the slowest option possible. And then the last thing to keep in mind, because these are juggling off of the ball, you have to have enough screen space for it to travel, right? So none of those combos would work if your opponent is in the corner, because the ball is just going to move off the screen after like 2 hits. Some combos you will find, like the dream combo especially, it requires more than like 2/3 of the screen space in order for it to work. It has huge corner carry potential, right? It will carry you from this corner all the way to the other corner, all the way to here, right? And you build a lot of super meter back, but it requires screen space, your situation awareness, where you are on the screen, right, on the stage. So if you already have your opponent in the corner and you only have level 2, it wouldn't be a viable option for you to pull that combo off. So these are some of the complicated stuff that you need to be aware of when using level 2. And I personally only know this one route, which is the one I already showed you, which is, it works from mid-screen. And it's just a heavy DP, Superman punch, and then heavy DP again. That's it. That's all it is. Very simple, works from mid-screen, don't need to worry too much about it. And from mid-screen, it carries you all the way into the corner, which is a scary place in Street Fighter 6, right? So obviously there are better optimization level 2 combo you can route, but I won't be showing you in this video. So that's it for this video. If you like this kind of content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And it's time to nod off.